Hey there, this is Atul from team K21 Academy, and in this video, I'm going to talk about day one and day two notes for cloud. So, if this video will be useful for someone who is new to cloud or already working on cloud but want to recap on the very basics and what all things you should be learning. I'm going to talk in the context of first initially with cloud, and then we're going to focus on AWS cloud, which is the number one cloud as well. Now, just I'll give you some context as well as we require on this. So we're going to look at what hands-on lab you should be doing, what projects what you should be doing, and also if you're a beginner, what you should be beginning with, and if you're already working into cloud, some of these things you probably already know. So maybe you pass on to someone who might be looking, but also recap on things that you probably might not know or understand that as well. As I said, this will be in the context of AWS cloud, but in future I might add something similar on um, on Microsoft Azure Cloud, or Google Cloud, or other cloud providers as well, as you probably might see. Now, just to give you some context, this video is part of a recap, which we usually do for our paid members who are part of our job-oriented program. So I thought probably, not a lot of guys can afford, so I thought probably I'll give you something so that you can learn on your own. And later, when you're ready to work with us or have a little bit affordability, you can come and work with us. So to give you some behind the scene as well, and that will good way of learning as well. Now I also run roughly around 2 hours free class on talking about the complete learning path. You can check that in description below. And if you're new to this channel, my name, as I said, my name is Atul. I've been close to 2.5 decades of IT experience, and last probably around 15 20 years is all about cloud, multi-cloud, and I've gone from earning less than $100 a month to then coming here from India to UK in back in 2004, and then worked with earning less than, or as I said, earning less than $100 to then 400, 500, 800, 900, now a charge in excess of £1,000 a day. So whatever I'm learning, I'm sharing this here as well. So first is, if you're new to cloud, first and most important, you should be beginning with cloud concepts. And to give you understanding of cloud concept, and this is a membership portal for those who are already familiar with that in our program. But if not, you begin with something called as cloud for absolute beginners. And this is where you go and understand the basic concepts. In that basic concepts, one of the most important thing you should be doing is cloud service model. And there are three service model: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Majority of time you're working on cloud, you'll be working either on infrastructure as a service or platform as a service. So you go and click on this link, which I'll be probably point this, which is about the description, top three cloud service models, which is SaaS, PaaS, IaaS model, which you'll be learning. There's a separate video I've done in the past. So make sure that you're familiar, and with some examples of IaaS, which is a storage, networking, compute. So from AWS, you have S3, for example, or that's a storage. Another example is EBS, block storage, or file storage, and so on. From a networking, you have VPCs. From compute, you have your virtual machines, you have containers, Kubernetes. Now, in platform as a service, there is something called, like, for example, Lambda, containers and Kubernetes, which is EKS, ECS, and there are a lot of other services as well. So understand the service models, because you'll be working and implementing that. That's first number. Another thing, you should be also familiar with cloud account. How do you, there is a AWS cloud account, but you can have multiple accounts. So each department can have their cloud account. And then you can have a top level account, which is a little bit more advanced concept, which I might be covering in future episodes or future videos as well. So make sure you're familiar with how do you set up one single account, and then also multi-account. We have OU, organization units, so familiarity with that. Now, we also gave a little bit idea about certifications. So there is a separate video I do and a guide I do about certifications. So you can look at these certifications in terms of what are the cloud certifications on AWS Cloud. And just to give you an idea about, there's a separate video we do, but there's a foundation level certificate, there's an associate level certificate, and there's more professional level certificate and specialist certification as well. So you can check out all those links, and there'll be a lot more documentation on this. Was talking about majority of time people go for cloud practitioner, and another one which is hugely popular is solution architect associate this certification. These days, if you want to go into AI and machine learning, there's a AI practitioner, and there's another one which is a machine learning associate. These are the two certifications recently introduced. When I say recently, they were introduced in 2024, September 2024. So these are some of the certifications you can read out more here in this. Now, also, this is part of our email. If you're not yet part of my email list, I would highly recommend you, if you're new to this channel, subscribe to this channel so that you get notified about these links as well, these things. So Also, we discussed about the career opportunities, job opportunities, and there are tons and tons of job opportunities. If you want to go and look at, you go to the LinkedIn and then search for the jobs. I'll explain you. So there's a job factor here. You click on search on jobs and then type AWS, for example, and what are the job role that you might be doing. Just type AWS and you'll turn, and then you search and say which city you want. So I'm just giving an example of USA, United States, and then it'll give you all the different job roles. So there's a separate video. In future videos, we're going to talk about what are the different job roles are available in the market, and like solution architect or developer or DevOps or security or support engineer or migration specialist or uh, program manager, project manager on cloud migration. So look at those jobs as well. So career opportunities. Now, because day one is more about basics concepts, we also give you, I will highly recommend you if you're practicing, create a free step-by-step account. Now, recently, I think a month or 2 months back, AWS changed their free tier account. Earlier, you were getting 1 year free account. There's also a step-by-step guide and video. I need to update. This was last updated in July 2024. The post was updated, but the video was outdated. So maybe a next video, which I'll be creating another one, is to create a free account. In that free account, you can create a free account. You just need a credit card or debit card. And that earlier there used to be 1 year free account. Now it's 6 months. And I think earlier it was some of the services for 6 months. Sorry, 1 year, limited services, some services, and you were free. Now, as I said, recently things have changed now here. So there'll be a separate video I'll be doing about talking about free account. So if you don't have any free account, I will highly recommend you to create a free account. So now the first day was, as I said, the basics overview, making yourself familiar. So understand that. The next, what you should be doing, and as I said, is what we covered. So you can follow the same principle. Most important is about pricing model. The pricing is very, very important. And that's important, especially if you're doing project management, if you're in a leadership role, and there are a lot of FinOps related job roles, finance operations. So you understand what are the pricing model. Again, for this, there'll be a link on how do you manage your cost down. There's also budgeting and planning and budgeting you can do. But this is a big topic on itself, and a lot of job roles demand that you're familiar with those pricing. How do you do the cost optimization? These are there are 6 pillars of the well-architected framework. One of the well-architected framework, which is about pricing. So make sure you're familiar with pricing and read out a little bit more about these links here as well. Now, also, then once that's done, next part is about AWS has a global infrastructure. What I mean by is there is a region, which is nothing but a geographical location. Within that region, you have availability zone. Those are data centers. And those availability zones are then have small, that's where your virtual machines, storage, networking, all those things are placed. So there's a separate video about what are these basically the concepts in terms of a region, availability zone, and so on. We make sure that you understand and learn, because later part you're going to do high availability, disaster recovery, or service level agreements, SLAs, like your total recovery time for disaster recovery, recovery point objective, recovery time, RTO and RPOs. All those things will be driven by how do you lay out your AWS infrastructure services. So availability zone, region, and those things are important. So make sure that you become familiar with these concepts on global infrastructure as well. Now, as I said, first on first few, what you should be doing is you should be creating an account, but then also immediately after that, you set your budgets and alerts, which means as soon as try creating services, most of the services are free, but some services are charged. So make sure that you do never spend, if let's suppose you accidentally leaving them running, you need to set some budgets and alerts, and that is where you can set all those things using a service called CloudWatch. So there's a separate video,
If
I
working with
think.
AWS Cloud is your job, then you need the
So there's a video about in terms of CloudWatch and CloudTrail. That is what probably you'll refer, and probably create a separate video as well. And then that's basically enough about from day one and day two. Later part you should be going, and then you start picking one by one services. And this is something which I'm going to cover in the next video, but things like identity and access management, which is where your users, groups, roles, policies, multi-factor authentication, and more advanced things like Active Directory or user group management on AWS Cloud. You can also go for more advanced topics like how do you integrate the applications running on AWS Cloud with another Azure cloud, for example, implementation of Active Directory or something similar to Active Directory called Enter ID on Microsoft Azure Cloud. So you work on that. So how do you work on these hands-on lab as well? Once that's done, the next part you should be learning is storage, which is three type of storage: block storage, object storage, and file storage services. Block storage is your EBS, Elastic Block Storage. Your file storage is EFS, which is a shared file system. And then you have object storage, which is your S3 buckets that you see. So make sure that you do some things about storage as well. So for now, just want to keep it the video short, quick, to the point. These are the things that you should be doing. Now, in this video, below this on the video, I'm going to share all these links so you can refer those and learn more about it. Also, if you want a step-by-step learning path on how to get a high-paying job in cloud, whether it's a single AWS cloud or multi-cloud, which is AWS and Azure cloud, there'll be a link to the free class that I run. Join that free class and do let me know. Apart from that, if you have any other questions, any other thing, any other feedback you have, do let me know about that as well. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about the creating a free account. And after that, in subsequent videos, as we move forward on these, I'll be sharing some links about identity access management, storage, S3, and all those things, block storage, all other things that we'll be doing on day 2, day 3, and day 4. With that, this is Atul. This is a short, crisp summary of what you should be learning and some of the links that you will see and come across here. With that, I'll see you in the next video about creating a free AWS account.